Hey, Alan Johnson. How are you doing today?
It's the summer,
It's the dog days of summer. We can
it's-
feel that heat.
and we're coming to you live with our summer real estate
Market
market report for Nova.
for Northern Virginia. So, what we like to do, and we're going to make sure we're doing this on a consistent basis, just keeping everyone abreast of what is happening in the Northern Virginia, DC metro region real estate market. And I think that some things you're going to be surprised about, some things you're like, that makes sense. And then others you're going to be like, I didn't even think about it. So, hopefully, every time you join us, you'll learn something.
Yeah, and here's the key, right? A lot of people talk about the market. We study the market.
Yep.
Right? So we're not just pulling just numbers out of the air. Like this literally took a day of deciphering information, talking to other industry professionals, making sure that we glean the information so that we can help you guys trend the market, right? Because remember, numbers tell you the overall trends, but they don't tell you the full real estate story.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, Alex, here's the thing. I know that our team, we've been talking to a lot of sellers, a lot of buyers, and what I'm trying to figure out, based upon what we've been hearing, right, is what do you say to the many buyers or prospective sellers out there who are saying, what's going on with the market?
Yeah. So I think there's a dynamic that we have to make sure that you guys understand, right? So the first dynamic is that when the market goes up, everything goes up. So it didn't matter whether you're in Culpeper, Prince William, Stafford, Winchester, like Alexandria, Arlington, anywhere, right?
Yeah.
When the market's going up, everything goes up.
Yep.
But it's very different when the market goes down.
Yeah.
Right. So it's segmented when it goes down, depending on location, depending on neighborhood, depending on condition of the property, and depending on the asset class. So, guys, when I say asset class, I'm talking about whether it's a condo, townhouse, or a single family home, or a multifamily home, or land, right? Or there are different types of asset classes when it comes to commercial. But when I'm talking about residential, it's condo, townhome, or single family.
Yeah, and we've been seeing that, right? So the biggest thing that we've seen is when people ask, so how's the market? It really is. It depends, right? So depending on those asset classes, like Alan mentioned, we're seeing things react very differently. It can be the same asset class and 5 miles away, and the market is responding and reacting to both of those, townhomes in a different manner. It just depends on the zip code, right?
Yeah. So the numbers that I'm watching, guys, and we'll get into some more like what do these numbers mean? So the first number I'm watching is the median sold price.
Yeah.
Right. So if you look at the home that's in the middle, right,
Mm-hmm.
is that average price going up, or is that median price going up, or is that median price going down? And as you can
Yeah.
see, Crystal, the median price was down how much?
Yeah, it was down 6%.
Right. But you have to take that into like a broader context.
Yeah.
Right. So that's 6% off of a run up over the past 5 years of 30 to 40%. So
Yeah.
for that seller is like, oh, well, my home is worth 6% less, boo hoo hoo hoo. If you own the property for the past 10 years, you've had a run up of almost 40%. So no one's going to feel sorry for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to cry you a river. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, you want to get all of your money, and we understand that. That's how we, want to communicate and respond to our sellers. But in the same token, that run up gave you a really, really, really great head start, right? So even if we see a little bit of a pullback in the market, as we are starting to see in certain areas, you're still going to be just fine.
And I'm having conversations with sellers about that. They're like, oh, I want to hit a certain number. And I have to remind them that you're going after a certain number and it's putting in danger the certain number.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, say that for them again. I think you might have lost some people there.
You're going for a certain number, right? A certain number, but you're going to risk the certain number.
Yeah.
So you're going after the 200,000 in profit when you're putting the 150 certain profit at risk.
Yeah.
And that's where we are in the market right now. Like you have to be very delicate about how you enter the market as a seller, because now you're putting that number that you definitely can get at risk by not entering the market correctly.
And Alan, what do you think? Which asset class do you think is going to be hit the most? Right, as we're looking at the market, we're seeing the fluctuations, we're seeing how it's responding differently in these asset classes. Which one is going to be affected the most?
Or the numbers tell us already. So active listings are up by 42% throughout these numbers are really like throughout the DMV, right? We can, if you guys want us to dive into a specific area, reach out to us because every area is reacting different. So if you're in Loudoun or if you're in DC, a certain quadrant, or in Maryland, a certain county, we can dig into that.
Yeah.
But overall, and this is like for all locations, condo listings are up over 110%. So if you look at the average listings of single families versus the average listings of townhouses, and then you look at the average listings of condos, it's over double the amount of active listings. And condos are going to get hit the hardest. And what happens is typically it doesn't happen all at once. So active listings will go up, and then you'll see, like, that's the leading indicator.
Yeah.
Right. And then the trailing indicator, which will be 2 to 3 to 4 months later, will be the prices that will pull back. So I've been telling all my condo buyers, condo sellers, is you got to be in front of that, right? Because what happens is the market goes down. It doesn't go, it goes like this.
Yeah.
So you got to get in front of it, right? And it may be you selling your condo for less than anyone else, but in 6 months, that might be even likely is going to be even less than that.
Yeah, and I think that, what we found is that's sometimes some of the hardest concept for sellers to wrap their head around, right? They feel as though that they're underpricing themselves when the reality is they're getting ahead of the market. And getting ahead of the market means that the market now has to catch up to you, which means you're going to create a little bit of a competition in there to be able to maybe get to your number. But if you don't do it, it's certain, let's go back to Alan's lingo, it's certain that you may not get there.
Right.
So let me ask you this, Alan. Tell me about the cost of sellers not doing the updates they were supposed to do on their homes over the years. How is that affecting the market?
Right. So the numbers tell us a little bit here too. So typically what you see is there's always a segment, the entry level price point in the area, right? That's not a condo, because the condo entry level is not only the condo, but the condo fee.
Yeah.
Right. So I always have looked at the townhouses as a true litmus test of like, what is truly happening in the market, because the townhome sellers are the ones that are buying the single family homes. They're buying the single family homes so those people can move up into bigger single family homes. Those people with bigger single family homes are moving back down into property. So, but it really starts with the person who's buying the townhouse, right? So what we found is that even townhouse median prices are down by 6%.
Yeah.
Right. And that's very irregular. And I said that this isn't because of the market. This is because of sellers that didn't do updates.
Yeah.
The market is discounting the fact that sellers didn't invest in updating like they should have over the past 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. And I just came from a townhome in Fredericksburg, and there's an epidemic of sellers who want full price, but didn't keep up with the deferred maintenance and updates.
Yeah. Yeah. We saw the exact same thing in Springfield, right? We went to see a couple of just even single family homes where they just didn't keep up, and those homes are still sitting.
Yeah. And what used to happen was that you could do the updates and the updates would update your price. But there are two dynamics that happen, right? Number one, interest rates went up. So that gap changed. Tariffs. I don't know if you guys have done a renovation recently, but the renovation costs, if you did the same renovation 4 years ago, is up by like almost 50 to 70%. Right. So we've got a commercial building in Richmond, and we had an HVAC that is a big HVAC system. And I think it was $90,000 during the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
It is $175,000 now. And that's a competitive price. We shopped it with multiple people, right? And that was the lowest that we could get. So it's the same thing with these residential properties, is that now you almost, not only do you have to do the renovations, or you got to discount your price lower than even the cost of the actual renovation, right? So the renovation is just the baseline now.
Yeah.
right? So you may have to put 30,000 into your place just to sell it at the price, but that doesn't mean you're going to get $30,000 more. And that was a very different thing 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, because you could actually, labor costs were cheaper, materials were cheaper, so you could put in that kitchen and then you could get that money out. But that's not the case, and that's what's putting a lot of pressure on these townhome prices, is that the sellers haven't done the updates and the buyers are discounting those prices more than the cost that it would be to do it.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what we're seeing a lot of, right? So Al, here's a question I know that everybody wants to know, right? And it is it a seller's market or is it a buyer's market?
So it depends. It is a seller's market and it is a buyer's market at the same time. Because again, like there are no absolutes in real estate, right? So there are no it was an absolute hyper seller's market for a long time. That was irregular. COVID was irregular, right? So it created, 2% interest rates were irregular. So it created an irregular market. But in the rest of my 24 or 5 years in real estate, it's depends on where you are, what you have, and how you're taking care of it. So I wrote a couple of things down here that I think would just give people some clarity on what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking in the market. So good homes sell fast and crappy homes sell for a lot less. So good homes still sell fast and crappy homes now sell for a lot less. So I wrote down here a little bit further is the baseline for what you have to do to get into the market has raised. Right. And the ceiling for a good home is still high, but the basement for a home that's not in good condition is much lower. And that even goes for homes that aren't functionally. Like if you got a full bathroom, or you got, some quirk in your home that you were able to work with, but most of the buyers aren't going to work with, that you are going to be penalized for that.
And then how do you get, how are you getting sellers to kind of understand, like, the penalty of trying to go into the market too high, right? They're coming in really hot on their price. How are you getting them to understand that penalty?
Yeah. So number one, you are going to be penalized for pricing your home, right? So before you weren't penalized for pricing your home wrong. So just an example, now if you price your home, let's say at 900,000, but say it's worth 8.25, right? And you don't correct fast, now your basement is lower. So now by the time you correct, your number is going to be 800,000. So before that would never happen, right? You could price it at 900,000 and say you were even high, like the market was going to correct you. But now the market penalizes you. Right. And that's a very different dynamic in real estate, is like a lot of sellers and a lot of agents aren't used to being penalized by the market.
Yeah, I think the not normal became normalized in most people's minds. So getting them to reprogram and understand that things have changed has been definitely a work in progress, right? Let me ask you this, right? So we also have the buyers we talk to. We talk to them probably, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times a day. And there's many who say, I'm just going to wait it out. It looks like the market is correcting itself. It looks like prices will probably fall even lower. I just want to wait it out. Like, what do you say to those people?
So I remember when I was buying my first home and I was living in Kingstown. And although I love Prince William County, right? I moved to Prince William County because the homes in Kingstown were people still wanted them and I was competing. And when back in 25 years ago, when they called Woodbridge, like a lot of people weren't moving out here. It's very different now. And whoever calls Woodbridge, we'll have a conversation, right? But I had to move a county further out to get a home that wasn't as competitive, right? So now it's back to the same thing. Like the buyers who want that home is still competitive. Like Northern Virginia is still littered with people with cash, people who have equity, people who've been waiting for the right home, right? And those people oftentimes are more leveraged, in a better cash position, and just more experienced and seasoned to know a good deal and go get it, right? And they know that a good deal isn't always about price, it's about owning the asset, right? So I think what buyers who are trying to time the market and get the best deal just realize it's like, there's only two things that are going to happen. Either you're going to move a county or two further out than where you want to be, and that's where the deals are going to happen.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be a home that's in crappy condition.
Yep.
Right. And then you're going to be competing with cash. Right. And then you might not be able to use that loan that you want to use to buy that type of home. I would say like buyers who are trying to time the market. And look, man, like I think I can be candid with you guys. Like you're not that smart. Right. You just
I'm not that smart.
I'm not that smart.
If we could time the market, we'd be having a lot of conversations about all the investments that we've made.
And we do own a lot of
investments.
But those investments the value didn't come from absolutely timing the market right. It was being in position to buy the right asset and hold it and make the numbers work for where it was.
Yeah.
Did we go back and refinance? Yes.
Yep.
You got to think like most people who got low rates refinanced.
Yep.
They had owned the asset when it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Or a couple of years ago. Right. So that's what you really got to think about. Is like, all right, does this asset work for me? And can I see this being a property that I love for the long term? Right. Is this the location I want? Because like quality real estate is always going to sell for a premium, specifically in DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. All right. So, Alan.
Yes.
If the people want to hear more, they want to learn more, they got some questions about how their specific market is performing, because they got to make some decisions over the next couple of months.
Right.
What do you tell them?
Get with a smart realtor.
Yeah.
Get with someone who's going to do a 15-minute strategy session with you. Number two, listen. Right. Don't think that you're the smartest person in the room, right? Just like I value great professionals in other walks of life, and I don't go try to tell them what they know, right? So don't go try to tell someone what they know, and just be ready. Like I think the best thing that we've always done in real estate is we were ready, right? So we told people, we were preaching this from like a year ago, get a HELOC. Yeah. If you own a property right now and you're going to move up, go get a HELOC. Don't use it, right? But go get it so that if an opportunity pops up, you at least have some liquidity to be able to go after it. I do love the people who have VA eligibility and some cash. So if you have VA eligibility and you have some cash, you should be calling us because we have a list of exclusive for VA assumables.
Yeah.
Where case in point, a home is maybe $900,000. They have a loan for $650,000. The loan is a VA loan with a 2 whatever interest rate. You can bring the difference between the loan amount and the sales price and assume that person's mortgage. Like every opportunity in real estate is like really like specific.
Yep.
Right. Really specific. So just get prepared for those things. And then also like, I think you would be doing your network a favor if you connected us with people who need to talk to people like us. Right. We have agents that are wonderful. We meet as a group every day.
Every day. So every
5 days a week, we're talking about the market. We're sharing information. We sell homes at a high level, so a lot of volume. So we get to feel the market in a way that an agent that only sells 1 or 2 homes a month doesn't feel, right? So I think that's the challenge, is that some agents, what they'll do is like, they're only selling one or two homes a market, 1 or 2 homes, let's say a quarter, right?
Yeah.
And they're trying to trend the market that they can't feel. I've had conversations with people that are working with, not necessarily working with other people that just need a bit of advice. So reach out to us.
Yeah. And I think that's the best way. And Alan said it great. It's all about preparation. If you think that you may be in a situation where you may need to make a move, whether that be buying or selling, it is important that you get started early, right? So it's never too early to start having the conversations, because you want to make sure that you can wrap your brain around it in such a way that you're making decisive decisions when the time comes. So get prepared, reach out. We'll be happy to do a 15-minute strategy session with you to get you on your way to having the knowledge you need to make a great decision in real estate.
And guys, the places we cover, just so you guys know that our team covers very well, is all of Northern Virginia, right? So all the way down, like past, like to almost to Richmond, really through Richmond. And then out west, all the way out to like Winchester. We own homes in the Central Virginia area. So we sell our own homes in the Central Virginia area. We do that well. And then we have agents that specialize in DC and in Maryland. Right. So those are the areas, also the people that are out there in other like locations in the country.
Yep.
We have a great database of agents that we network with, that we coach all over the country. So
Yep.
we can identify a great agent for you anywhere in the United States, really anywhere in the world. So reach out to us before you have the real estate need so that we can connect you with the person that you need so you can make a smart real estate decision.
Yep, that's the key. So before you need it, right? So you don't want to have to be in a panic, right? And then not make a great decision. So preparation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot of people they wait for the last minute and they end up doing real estate like at one of these, like it's the equivalent of doing real estate at like an urgent care.
Yeah.
Like you really need a primary care doctor.
Yeah.
You need a dope primary care realtor. And that's what we are. So Alan Johnson with the AJ team, you have the dream.
We have the address. And of course, it's Crystal Johnson here with the AJ team as well. And we'll see you soon.
See you soon, guys.